Welcome to Fantasy Plus. The off-season continues as we get you ready for your drafts. We have a talented group joining me today. Phil Pinarski, Jack Doles. Jack, it's been a while.
Yeah, thanks for having me back on. I thought after last year's Fantasy Football League performance, I was just banned from the show.
Well, you got that title of sports director, so you get to hang around.
Okay, thanks.
We've been cruising through the off-season. Phil's been here for most of it. We try to avoid a lot of the things that might be dated because this episode's going to air throughout the off-season. So without further ado, let's take a look at players in new places, starting with tight ends. David Njoku goes to the Chargers, free agent from the Browns. Isaiah Likely follows Harbaugh from Baltimore to the New York Giants. Chig Okonkwo goes from the Tennessee Titans to the Washington Commanders. And in smaller news, Daniel Bellinger goes from the Giants to the Titans. And Austin Hooper goes back to the Falcons after being in New England. Which names stick out to you guys on that list?
I'd go with Chig Okonkwo. He's a guy that he was number one. He'll be number one on the depth chart right now for Washington. Last year, 56 receptions. And that might be his ceiling, but I think of the other players on this list, he's the guy I think with the most upside. Commanders completed, though, just 74 passes to tight ends last year. But then again, they didn't have their main quarterback the whole time. He was hurt. So I like the situation for Okonkwo. And I think he's the guy of all these guys on this list that can have the biggest upside.
Yeah, no, again, that's a great pick. I also really like Isaiah Likely, but I think that may just be because I've always really liked him as a player. I've always felt like he's kind of gotten overshadowed in Baltimore behind a guy like Mark Andrews, and now as presumably the tight end number one for this New York Giants team. And, quietly, I guess maybe not so quietly, maybe just for me, I haven't really realized just this offense for the New York Giants. It's quickly kind of coming together a little bit. If Jackson Dart can stay healthy, I mean, he could be in for a really big year, Isaiah Likely.
The problem I have with Likely is the production last year dropped off dramatically.
Yeah.
14 games, just 27 catches. And I don't know why. They weren't that big of a mess. But, he had 42 catches in 2024. He's had like a couple of games that have put him on the map for fantasy owners, but he's never been a steady, consistent performer.
And Theo Johnson's still there. Him and Jackson Dart had a pretty good rapport last year. So we'll see how that... I got that name, though. For all the years that I've had Likely on a roster, behind Andrews, you're just waiting for Likely to have he had a couple pops when Andrews didn't play. So we'll see how that develops. Any other names on this list that...
Njoku's interesting, but he's 2 on the depth chart. He had 81 catches in 2023, but then since then 64 and 33. So a steady decline as he gets older. Right. And he's behind Oronde Gadsden. Jim Harbaugh likes tight ends, so if Gadsden got hurt, I might think about him. But he's a guy I'd draft really late in this draft. I don't think I'd touch Bellinger. I think you'd maybe pick him up on waivers. Austin Hooper, another guy that his best years are behind him. So, pick him up off waivers at some point because he's not going to replace Kyle Pitts as the number one option in Atlanta.
Right. And we still don't know who's going to be throwing the ball down in Atlanta either. So that's also a big part of that.
True.
Most likely Tua, but health is a concern there.
Yeah.
Also not listed, Noah Fant and Tyler Conklin. Also probably not fantasy relevant.
Right.
But
No, and Conklin's been hurt with the Lions, so I don't see him. I think if you're talking about tight ends, you're probably looking at guys that have been with their teams and maybe guys looking for bounce backs off injured years like Kraft with Green Bay. But, of all these guys, Okonkwo is one guy that I might pick up late in the draft if I haven't taken a tight end yet, or for some depth at tight end.
Yeah, I've been drafting Okonkwo late in drafts. You can usually get him in the last round, 13, 14, depending on how many people you have. So we'll take a look at that. Well, we've got the more interesting fantasy relevant group coming up next. That's your fantasy wide receivers on new teams, and there are a lot. Stay with us, Fantasy Plus. We'll be right back.
Okay, things are happening fast. I need you to pay attention. To start us off, Duncan, you're going to move into the position for daybreak. Jamie, move here for the noon with George. Then George split off and tackle the 4 with Amber. Jamie, you handle the 5 o'clock show with Brian. Brian and Amber, you guys take the 6. Blake and Nicole quarterback the 7. And to wrap things up, Brian and Amber take us home with the 10 and the 11. Great.
We've got a brand new lineup. Catch all the action weekdays starting on Daybreak. When you need local news, in a world of AI overviews, content farms, and chatbots, getting the news you need can feel harder than ever. You are not a robot. You deserve real news affecting real people right where you live. That's why News 8 is your trusted source for everything local, authentic, and unartificial. When you need the latest news, weather, and traffic in West Michigan, visit woodtv.com.
Welcome back, Fantasy Plus. We're going through the offseason this week. It's wide receivers and tight ends in new places in new jerseys. We've got a large group of wide receivers that changed in the offseason. A.J. Brown goes from the Philadelphia Eagles to the New England Patriots. That's one of your big splashes. Jalen Waddle in the trade with Miami comes over to the Denver Broncos. DJ Moore in a trade with Chicago comes over to the Bills. Michael Pittman is now a Steeler after a trade with Indianapolis. Wan'Dale Robinson comes over as a free agent from the Giants. He had a pretty good season when Neighbors went down. He's now with the Titans. As we continue to get you up to speed with changes in the offseason and how fantasy relevant, this group has a lot of names on it.
It's a big page right there.
Yeah.
Big page. A.J. Brown, clearly the number one receiver for the Patriots. 78 catches last year in a year where he wasn't targeted nearly as much as years past. I don't understand what happened in Philadelphia, if he just fell out of favor with his quarterback or the offensive coordinator, but I still think he's got plenty to give. I'm expecting like 80, 90 catches from him, about 1,200 yards, and get back into double-digit touchdowns. He's a guy that, late first round, if I need a receiver or if he's the best option, I wouldn't hesitate on taking him because I like his situation with the Patriots. That's a team that, unbelievable run last year with a quarterback that really seems to be knowing, where he's going, what he's doing, can run an offense. And now he's going to have one of the alpha dog receivers in the NFL to throw to.
Right. And he's already kind of fitting in. I mean, I've already seen a few highlights from training camp with the Patriots right now of him breaking defenders' ankles, specifically Sauce Gardner, who is a top cornerback in the league too. So again, he's already kind of finding his groove. I feel like I think he's in for a monster year. I mean, we've seen Drake May, have his struggles, and he had Stephon Diggs really as his main guy last year. I think A.J. Brown, I think we can all agree, is probably a big step up from a guy like Stephon Diggs. So I think that's probably, again, I'm with Jack. If you're in the first round and he's still there, I mean, I wouldn't hesitate to take him, honestly.
And a couple other names you had on that, Aaron. Jalen Waddle with the Broncos now. Yeah. Boy, that's a good situation for him. Again, you've got a good young quarterback who needed a number one receiver. They've got Cortland Sutton. So now you've got that speed demon in Jalen Waddle, who, in his more productive years with the Dolphins, was a catch machine. So I wouldn't be surprised to see his numbers go up a lot. He was limited to 64 catches, 900 yards with the Dolphins last year, but that franchise was a mess. Now he's playing for one of the best offensive coaches in the league. And I also like Michael Pittman in the situation he's in now with Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers has shown over the years that when he's got a receiver he trusts and likes, he's going to throw to him. And he had some great years there with the Indianapolis Colts, down to 80 catches last year, but he had 109 catches in 2023. So he's a guy that can clearly route run. He can catch the ball, and he has the trust of his quarterback. So I like that situation there for Michael Pittman with the Steelers.
Yeah, I mean, Pittman helped me win a couple of games last year as my flex. So, again, he holds a very special place in my heart. The DJ Moore thing, too, I think is going to be really interesting to see. I think he's in for another big year because he's going to have Josh Allen. And, again, we've been waiting for Josh Allen to have that pure number one wide receiver. They tried it with Keon Coleman. That didn't work out. They were really missing that since Stephon Diggs left. So, again, does he kind of swoop in now? Again, he's a little bit older, but I think he does fit a little bit better in with Buffalo's sort of timeline right now, too.
What I don't understand is that dramatic drop off. He went from 98 catches to just 50 last year with the Bears, and that's with a great offensive mind there.
Yeah.
So that may have been a disconnect with his quarterback, his young quarterback. But Josh Allen has shown too, like you mentioned with Stephon Diggs, he hasn't had that alpha receiver since Diggs left, and it's a great situation for DJ Moore. But I like him more as like a number 2 receiver on my team, not number 1 on a fantasy team.
Right.
Yeah, and do we take the bait? How many times have we been like, oh, Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, like, yep.
Shakir,
it's Josh Allen.
Shakir's a good depth guy for your fantasy team and a nice receiver for him.
Right.
I think he becomes better with a guy like DJ Moore on the team.
Right.
Yeah.
Keon Coleman, I don't think anybody trusts.
Right. I just meant there was like, oh, now this guy's Josh Allen's new target. Let's go for this guy. And it didn't work. I think DJ Moore has a better potential than those guys did. And he also has a history of doing it. He was before Adunze and before, all the other draft guys, before Loveland got there, he was number 1 for the Bears when he first got there. So he can do it.
Right.
So I don't think there's any concern there. Also, Wan'Dale Robinson.
Tennessee needs a lot of help.
Pairing with Carnell Tate.
Yeah. I mean, I like Wan'Dale. I mean, he destroyed Detroit last year when he was on the Giants. So I know what he's capable of. Again, I think maybe as a flex option, maybe as if you're picking, towards the end and he's still available, mid to late rounds, I wouldn't hesitate to, I guess, take him. But as far as is he going to be that receiver 1 or 2 on my team, I don't think so.
He had 140 targets last year. And he had 92 receptions and over 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
And that I would not. I had him on a team, and I still don't remember him being that productive.
Right.
Yeah.
So he doesn't score a lot of touchdowns, but he's steady and
He's a good floor. Good floor play.
He's a good 2-3 receiver on your team.
Right.
If you have him as your 3rd wide receiver, you're in really good shape.
Yeah. Now, A.J. Brown is creeping up the draft boards in mock drafts I've been doing. You can see him in the 2nd round. I think as training camp and all that goes on, we're going to see him move up potentially at the end of the 1st round. But I don't think he's cracking the top tier right now. I think everybody's thinking of last year.
Right.
So right now it's like around, are you taking Justin Jefferson or are you taking A.J. Brown as your wide receiver at the end of the 1st round?
Yeah, I'm taking Justin Jefferson in a heartbeat.
Right. Jalen Waddle's going more like 3rd rounds. So we'll see if that changes. And then DJ Moore, Michael Pittman, and Wan'Dale are mid-rounds. So we'll see. All right, 2nd page. And obviously, those draft ADPs will change as we get closer when people get more serious about drafting. Mike Evans comes over from Tampa Bay to San Fran. Hold your thoughts on Mike Evans for a second. Christian Kirk also comes over to the Niners, free agent from the Texans. Dontavian Wicks comes over from Green Bay to Philadelphia. Odell Beckham Jr. signs as a free agent. He's 33. He'll turn 34 in November. Then Deebo Samuel and Stephon Diggs, most recent signings. Deebo with the Niners because of injuries on the San Francisco wide receiver core. And then Stephon Diggs, we talked about, comes over from New England to Washington. A lot of names here. Some of the older guys. You've got Mike Evans, 33. Odell, 33, turning 34. What do you guys make of this one?
Yeah, if there was a senior tour for wide receivers, that'd be a pretty good list. Mike Evans, San Francisco has already suffered some big injuries in camp, and he's been missing significant camp time here. But he's still a guy that, he had injuries last year. It was the first time in his career he didn't catch for over 1,000 yards.
Right.
So he's been an unbelievably consistent performer when he's healthy. Can he stay healthy at this age? Because he's getting up there, 33 years old. He'll be 33 when the NFL season starts. But certainly a first-round Hall of Famer. But I think he can be really good for Brock Purdy. Quarterbacks obviously trust him like crazy. and he's a touchdown scoring machine. I don't expect him to go back to Mike Evans' prime,
Right.
but I still think he can be a really good piece on a team if he stays healthy. Christian Kirk, waiver option at best.
Gotcha.
I was going to say, I mean, really a lot of those guys, pretty much everybody on that second page, the big question is, can they stay healthy? They're all, for the most part, have missed significant time over the last couple of seasons with injuries. So again, the question becomes, can they stay healthy? I think Mike Evans, if he's able to play, give you 14, 15 games, I mean, he's going to be right up there as far as getting closer to that 1,000 yards this season, I think, because he is going to be a big target for a guy like Brock Purdy. Christian Kirk, again, kind of like what Jack was saying, probably not jumping to go ahead and draft him super early. And I'm looking at some of those other guys on the San Francisco side of things that also signed. I mean, you're looking at Deebo Samuel coming back, for instance, as well as Christian Kirk. I mean, Deebo Samuel, I mean, what he is capable of. Can he, again, stay healthy and maybe turn back the clock a little bit after a pretty tumultuous time in Washington? I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Wouldn't bet on it for sure.
No, I wouldn't bet on him. I certainly wouldn't bet on Odell Beckham. Dontavian Wicks, it just seems like he's never lived up to what he can be. You see flashes with Green Bay. So maybe the new situation, just gives him a spark, but you can get him really later off the waivers. But Stephon Diggs is the one guy that still intrigues me.
Yeah.
This will be his fourth team in 4 years. So, he's not obviously a great clubhouse presence, but he had 85 catches for over 1,000 yards last year. So he's still very productive out there, and his quarterbacks trust him. And they're willing to throw to him. He makes tough catches, and he's a really good option for Jaden Daniels.
Right. I don't think Washington's can replicate how bad they were last year. At least we hope not. So again, they're going to be on the up and up. Yeah.
Yeah, between the injuries. And he becomes the 2 with McLaurin. So, who are you going to shadow on defense?
Right.
So I think that's he's late in drafts right now, Stephon Diggs. I think he will move up ADP as we get closer to drafts, but somebody to look for late in the later rounds.
Yeah, if he's there in the 8th, 9th round, he's going to catch my eye.
Yeah. If he's your wide receiver 3 or 4 or whatever, that's a great
If I've got
deal.
a really strong receiving core or a really good one, and I've been chasing running backs and maybe a tight end, then I might give Diggs a little more of an eye because I still think he can be productive. You don't have to worry about him messing up your clubhouse as a fantasy football owner.
Right.
You're just looking at his numbers, and his numbers are always really good if he stays healthy.
Yep. And he'd be good depth on your fantasy team.
Right.
Any other names not listed on that list? Keenan Allen hasn't signed yet, but he could go somewhere at this point in his career. He's also getting older.
Yeah, I mean, if he signs somewhere, then I might give him a waiver flyer when that time comes.
Kinda
If
depends
it's
on
the
where he
right
lands.
situation
Depends on
and
the
where
fit.
my team is sitting.
Right.
Because, it's hard to believe that a guy that looks like that is not still in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be one of those where Jim Harbaugh is waiting to get through training camp before he brings a veteran like that back in.
Right. Or there's teams like the Colts that may be looking for a tried and true receiver.
Yeah, 49ers might be.
The
With
49ers.
all the injuries that
they're
they keep
always looking
stacking
for,
up.
They're always looking for depth.
Yeah.
All right, that'll do it for wide receivers in New Jersey's. Coming up, we're going to talk about Week 1. We'll take another look at Week 1 and talk about our anniversary. We'll be right back.
Life moves fast in West Michigan. Your news should keep up. Wood TV is breaking out of the box to meet you where you need us. The headlines matter, but so do deep dive investigations, hard-hitting news, weather on demand, moments of pride in local sports, documentaries, movie reviews, fantasy leagues, life advice. Total access anywhere you are, anytime. On air, online, and streaming now for free on Wood TV Plus. In a flash, sunny skies can turn deadly in West Michigan. When severe weather strikes, Chief Meteorologist Ellen Baca and Storm Team 8 work around the clock to keep you safe, tracking storms down to the minute, down to the street, and putting decades of local experience to work. Be prepared before the storm. Follow us online. Download Wood TV Plus and the Storm Team 8 weather app. So if the lights go out, you'll get the information you need. Storm Team 8, the weather you can trust.
I'm hoping that his receiving core takes that additional step this upcoming season, and he continues to do things both through the air, on the ground. I think if you can grab him in the second round, I know Alec is cringing at the idea of that, but I think if you got your guy in that first round, why not just take the swing with Josh Allen?
Right. My concern is the people that you're passing on are like Jonathan Taylor. You're passing on Chase Brown, Ladd McConkey, Kyron Williams, Trey McBride. You know, players that could really help bolster your team.
And to wait a long time, but finally NFL football is back, starting with the first Hall of Fame game, the preseason game. So at this point, there's about a 20% chance at seeing some rain.
The last 2 years, I've been the Iowa offense enjoyers. That might be my name again this year. My last name doesn't fit very well to roll off of names. So.
All right. Well, that was our very first episode. We've now been doing this for a year. That was July 31st, 2025. We did a show before all of our graphics were made. We were using the old Frenzy graphics, Jack.
Yeah, those are classics.
Look how we've grown. We're now on episode 27.
Seeing the humble beginnings of Fantasy Plus.
We're about ready to kick off season 2, which leads us to the extra point this week. This is the fun one. We kick off regular season. Just to clarify what we've said in past shows, there's one international game, there's a Wednesday night game, and a Thursday night game. So just to make sure everybody knows. So the Patriots-Seahawks kick off the season, Super Bowl rematch, September 9th on NBC and Peacock. That's Wednesday. Go Hawks. And then Thursday on Netflix is the Niners and the Rams in Melbourne, Australia. They're playing on the cricket grounds field there. That'll be the week 1 kickoff. And then there's the full slate of games.
Wednesday night
looks.
football.
Yeah, Wednesday night and Thursday night.
That doesn't even sound right. I mean, I'm excited about it, but it just sounds a little weird.
Sure.
He's trying to rule the world.
Yeah.
Every night but Tuesday this
Right.
year. Oh, and Friday. Yeah, there's not a Friday scheduled. We had the Friday last year. But any thoughts on week 1 as we
I still can't
count down a few
believe
minutes?
that it was Patriots and Seahawks in the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
I was in Italy, and we were at a sports bar in the middle of the night to watch that one with some of the reporters from Seattle and New England. So it was kind of fun to see that whole thing play out.
Yeah.
But I don't expect to see those two teams back, but what do I know? That second game with the 49ers and Rams, if the 49ers can get healthy, but they've just had a crazy preseason so far. Without playing a game, they've got a MASH unit.
Yeah.
You know,
And going to Australia.
Going to Australia. The Lions, it feels like to me a softball toss for week 1 at home. The Saints, they should be 1-0.
Right.
I like that Buffalo-Houston game. That's intriguing.
Yeah.
Looking through here, it's not an Green Bay and Minnesota. That's a really big opening week game, and we'll find out pretty quick which of those teams, Dallas or the Giants, is maybe real.
Right.
I don't trust either one of those teams, and I like that opening Monday night game, especially if Mahomes is playing. What a great way to start the season with two in-division rivals who both have Super Bowl aspirations, especially KC, if Mahomes is healthy.
Both Mahomes and Knicks are coming off of injuries. So,
Right.
Phil, Jack didn't leave you much on the bone there. Anything,
Well, I'm going to pick a game that I know he was not going to pick because for some reason I am kind of intrigued by it, and that is the New York Jets taking on the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
Because I got made fun of a couple weeks ago when I said I was watching Cam Ward highlights, and I think he is he's ready to have a really great sophomore season, I think, and I'm curious to see how the Jets will look because the more I keep looking at this roster, they do have pieces, but again, it's all all going to come down to quarterback play. Can Geno Smith be that guy? I don't know. It'll be, again, I mean, after watching him with my Raiders last year, I can say no. But again, the hope is that maybe. But again, I'm really just interested to see how Cam Ward comes out with this new whole look Tennessee Titans team. You know, defense, offense, new uniforms, new logo even. So that's one game I'm super anxious to see. Will the Raiders end up going with Kirk Cousins as their starting quarterback week 1? Will they let Fernando Mendoza take the reins? That's what I'm going to be watching. I know nobody else probably will be. Indianapolis-Baltimore, another game that I think is going to be pretty intriguing just because, you know, what does this Baltimore offense look like without Harbaugh as their head coach now? Whole new look team, whole new look for Lamar Jackson. That's going to be interesting to see too.
Feels like the Raiders are going to let Mendoza season and learn and watch Cousins. And if those guys are anything less than 2-2 after 4 games, they'll make that switch. If Kirk is playing really well, and you know he's a great leader, we know that. But if the Raiders' offense is moving and they're putting up points and they're productive, then I think they'll let Mendoza sit a little bit longer and learn more. He's got the kind of attitude that makes you believe that you can do that with him. You know, in best case scenario for them, Kirk has a great year. Mendoza learns most of the season, and then next year he takes over. But I think Kirk still has something in him, but you know, it hasn't ended well the last couple of years for Kirk. So he needs a bounce back. Otherwise, we're going to be seeing him calling games very soon, and he'll be fantastic at that. He's had an incredible career. I just don't know if he's QB1 for a playoff team anymore. We'll see. The Jets, you remember how bad they were last year? You guys remember that?
Yeah.
I expect this season to go very much like that.
No hope for them.
Hoping for some more fantasy relevance.
None whatsoever. And we're going to have to hear some of the higher network people talking about the Jets until they're 0-4.
Right.
And then maybe they'll be quiet. But they'll be in disbelief that they're so bad. It's like, wait a minute. What?
I feel like I've seen this movie before.
Take your Kool-Aid fan out of Kool-Aid, your green Kool-Aid out. This is a bad franchise.
To be clear, Phil, the guy that made fun of you for watching Tennessee Cam Ward highlights is not here today.
Right.
So just leave it at that. Let's see.
He's at home watching Cam Ward highlights.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
Wishing he played for Iowa.
I'm gonna take the ones that you guys didn't talk about just for fantasy impact. I think the Bengals and the Bucks. The Bucks have had problems in the offseason, and the Bengals have had no problems. Usually every season we've come into fantasy the last, 5-6 years, it's somebody's holding out, somebody's injured. We've got none of that. Knock on wood, all your fantasy stars are ready to roll. They're at home. I think the Bengals start 1-0 this year. And that obviously fantasy relevance. And then Baker didn't get his contract, so Baker's going to be playing angry.
Right.
He could be a late pick for you in drafts. He's pretty much going undrafted right now. If you want him to be your QB2, or if you want to wait on the position, Baker. I see Phil thinking over there.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. I'm like, depending on how many people are in your league, I mean, he's right outside that top 10 for me.
He's not getting drafted right now.
Right.
But that's something to look at. And we know the Bengals give up points, so that could be a shootout.
It's just been a strange offseason for Tampa. It almost feels like they're looking ahead at the quarterbacks in next year's draft and saying, maybe this is a good year to tank.
Right.
Because 2 of their best players, Baker Mayfield and Vita Vea, both want out. Or Vita Vea wants out, and Baker Mayfield's not happy because they're not paying him like a number 1 quarterback. And I think he's proven he is a number 1 quarterback, but he may be thanking his lucky stars that he didn't get a long-term deal with Tampa if things really go south there.
Yeah, you wonder what what the QB market will be for free agents next year with all of the big QBs coming in the draft next year that we've talked about.
Yeah, and if he keeps playing the way he's played and leading the way he leads, I'm certain somebody is going to make a run at Baker Mayfield. Maybe that'd be one of those trade things. If they see themselves as a no chance at the playoffs 6 weeks in, 7 weeks in, they might take some feelers to see what they can get for him on the trade market. And for another team, that would be a really good guy to pick up, especially if they're a quarterback away. Right. We'll see.
Phil, thanks for being here. Jack, thanks for being here, as always, both of you. This is our next to last episode of the off season. We'll wrap up season 1 with our mock draft 2.0. Look out for us. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
They say nothing comes for free.
But I beg to differ.
Wood TV Plus is available now for free. No cable, no credit card, no antenna. Get Wood TV Plus today for your smart TV.